Good evening, I'm reporting on a debate currently polarizing the music world. The rise of Jordan. Is it possible that the greatest voice of our generation has already been found, or are we witnessing a massive marketing illusion? For decades, the vocal throne of Whitney Houston sat untouched, guarded by a legacy of the voice that seemed unreachable. However, industry insiders are now sounding the alarm on a young woman whose resonance isn't just a tribute, it's a haunting duplication. Critics initially dismissed her as a novelty, but as her recent 2026 performances go viral, the skepticism is evaporating. We are looking at a technical anomaly that challenges everything we know about vocal development. But as the next Whitney label sticks, a darker narrative is emerging behind the scenes. Experts suggest that comparing a newcomer to a legend is a dangerous game that often leads to a career-ending crash. Yet, Jordan seems to be leaning into the fire, sparking a conversation that many veteran producers find deeply uncomfortable. The question isn't just about her ability to hit a high note, but whether she possesses the same soul frequency that made Whitney a global deity. Is this a genuine passing of the torch or a clever manipulation of nostalgia? What if I told you that a standard human throat shouldn't be able to produce these sounds at 20 years old? Investigative reports into Jordan's vocal technique reveal something startling. Our team spoke with several vocal pathologists who describe her lower register as having a supernatural density. Unlike typical pop stars who rely on nasal resonance or digital pitch correction, Jordan's Organic Rebellion album shows a reliance on raw diaphragmatic power. This is the same technical foundation that allowed Whitney Houston to sustain power without vocal fatigue for years. However, rumors have surfaced suggesting that Jordan's unique sound has made her a target for vocal cloning research by major tech firms. There's a growing speculation that her DNA-level talent is so rare that it's being studied to improve AI voice synthesis. While that sounds like science fiction, the reality is that her laryngeal control is something we haven't seen in the digital age. This isn't just singing, it's a biological that defies modern training methods. As we peel back the layers of her technique, we find a woman who is physically built for a different era of music. But this gift comes with a heavy price, as the pressure to maintain this superhuman standard begins to mount under the relentless glare of the public eye. Why would a rising star walk away from a multi-million-dollar contract at the peak of her fame? Our investigation into her business dealings uncovered a massive rift between Jordan and Republic Records. Documents suggest that the label wanted to modernize her sound, a move fans feared would strip away the very soul that makes her a legend. In 2025, Jordan took a gamble that would ruin most artists. She walked away. This wasn't just a creative difference, it was a total rejection of the industry's manufacturing plant. Sources close to the singer claim she was being pressured to use ghostwriters and auto-tune to fit a tick-friendly mold. By choosing independence, she effectively declared war on the gatekeepers of the Billboard charts. The fallout was immediate. We've tracked a significant dip in her mainstream radio play during that period, which many believe was a coordinated blackballing effort by the majors. The message was clear: if you don't play by the rules, you don't get to play at all. However, Jordan's defiance has turned her into a martyr for artistic integrity, attracting a massive underground following that the labels can no longer ignore. This power struggle is a microcosm of the modern music industry, a battle between corporate profit and the raw, unpolished truth of a generational talent. Have you noticed that despite her sold-out shows, the biggest news outlets suddenly stopped mentioning her name? During the height of her 2025 residency, a strange silence fell over the entertainment media. Our newsroom investigated why a singer of her caliber was suddenly absent from late-night talk shows and major music publications. The trail leads back to a series of legal gag orders linked to a dispute with NRK in Norway. While the official story cites contractual complications, whispers of a more sinister censorship campaign have emerged. Some insiders allege that her independence made her a liability for investors who prefer predictable, controlled stars. This blackout wasn't a lack of interest, it was a tactical withdrawal of the spotlight. During this time, Jordan reportedly faced intense security threats and legal pressure that forced her into a brief period of seclusion. It was a digital exile designed to break her momentum. But instead of fading away, Jordan used this time to record the most controversial music of her career, turning her isolation into a weapon. The blackout failed, but it exposed the terrifying power that record labels still hold over the truth in entertainment. As she re-emerges, the industry is left wondering how a girl they tried to erase became more prominent than ever. Is her lack of footwear a touching tribute or a calculated psychological tactic to stay grounded in a fake world? To the casual viewer, Jordan performing barefoot is a quirky aesthetic choice. But our deep dive into her history reveals a much deeper, almost spiritual commitment. It traces back to an encounter with a shoeless orphan, a moment that reportedly shattered her perspective on fame and wealth. In 2026, this has evolved into a symbol of her organic rebellion. In a world of 6-inch heels and million-dollar wardrobes, her bare feet serve as a constant reminder of her humanity. However, some industry psychologists suggest this is also a grounding technique to manage the immense pressure of being compared to icons like Whitney. By physically touching the stage, she maintains a connection to the earth that prevents the diva ego from taking over. Yet, even this humble act has faced criticism. Some conservative promoters have tried to ban the practice, citing safety concerns, which many see as just another attempt to force her into a polished commercial box. Jordan's refusal to put on shoes has become a silent protest against the artificiality of the pop world. It is a visual representation of her music, raw, unprotected, and completely exposed. The Barefoot Queen isn't just a nickname, it's a manifesto for a new kind of stardom. Behind the beautiful melodies lies a mountain of accusations and lawsuits that threat to silence her forever. Our legal team has been tracking a series of quiet filings that suggest Jordan is currently embroiled in a high-stakes battle for her intellectual property. Since going independent, she has faced a barrage of legal issues regarding her early catalog and even the rights to her own name. These aren't just standard disputes, they are described by some as predatory litigation designed to drain her financial resources. Rumors have even surfaced regarding unproven accusations that attempted to smear her reputation during her 2025 comeback. It's a classic David versus Goliath scenario, where a single artist is fighting the combined legal might of international conglomerates. Despite the tactics used against her, Jordan has remained remarkably transparent with her, often hinting at these struggles in her lyrics. The stress of these battles would have broken a lesser artist, but Jordan seems to use the conflict as fuel for her vocal performances. Every time she takes the stage, she is fighting for the right to exist on her own terms. The courtroom has become as much a part of her story as the recording studio, and the outcome of these cases could set a precedent for every independent artist in the future. It's the old guard of the music industry rigging the rules to prevent an independent sweep in 2026. As we approach the Grammy season, our sources inside the Academy have leaked information about hushed conversations regarding Jordan's eligibility. Despite her overwhelming numbers, there appears to be a blockade being built by major label executives. The fear is that if an independent artist wins the top categories, it will expose the pay-to-play nature of the award system. We've discovered that several secret rule changes were proposed this year that coincidentally make it harder for self-distributed artists to qualify for major honors. It's a gatekeeping tactic that has been used before, but never against someone with Jordan's undeniable vocal range. Fans are already calling it the Great 2026 Robbery before the nominations have even been announced. The tension is palpable, as the industry realizes that ignoring her could lead to a massive public backlash. If Jordan is snubbed, it won't just be a loss for her, it will be a loss for the credibility of the awards themselves. Are we entering an era where talent is secondary to the logo on your contract? The world is watching, and the Academy's decision will tell us exactly where the power lies in 2026. What has this journey truly cost the young woman behind the voice, and was it worth the OD of fame? Beyond the lights and the lawsuits, there is the human element of Jordan's story. Close associates have hinted at the intense isolation that comes with being a generational prodigy. The transition from a child star to a Whitney-level icon has been fraught with challenges that the public rarely sees. Reports of burnout and emotional exhaustion surfaced during her 2025 tour, leading some to fear she might succumb to the same pressures that plagued her predecessors. The industry has a history of consuming its legends, and Jordan is currently in the mouth of the beast. There are whispers that she has had to her social life and personal relationships just to keep up with the demands of her career. The psychological toll of being the hope of music is immense. While she appears poised on stage, the tea she has had to deal with behind closed doors is enough to make anyone walk away. This isn't just a career, it's a survival story. As she prepares for her next world tour, the question remains, how much of herself will she have to lose to keep the world listening? Could Jordan be the catalyst that finally breaks the major label monopoly once and for all? As we look toward the end of 2026, the Jordan effect is starting to change the landscape of the entire industry. Other artists are beginning to follow her organic rebellion blueprint, choosing creative freedom over corporate funding. We are seeing a shift where vocal range and authenticity are becoming more valuable than viral gimmicks. Our analysts suggest that if Jordan continues her current trajectory, she could become the most influential artist of the decade. Her success is proving that the audience is hungry for something real, something that carries the weight and shocking power of a Whitney Houston or a Billie Holiday. She has become a symbol of hope for a dying industry, a reminder that true talent cannot be manufactured or suppressed. But the road ahead is still dangerous. As she becomes more powerful, the attempts to control her narrative will only become more sophisticated. We are witnessing the birth of a new kind of legend, one who doesn't just sing the songs, but owns the master tapes and the story behind them. The next Whitney tag might actually be an understatement. She might be the first Jordan. Is she the heir to the throne, or is she something entirely different that we aren't prepared to handle? In our final analysis, the comparison between Jordan and Whitney Houston is both accurate and completely wrong. While she possesses the technical, shocking range and the revealed depth of a legend, Jordan is operating in a world that Whitney could never have imagined. She is a digital-age warrior fighting for an analog-age soul. Our investigation has shown that she has survived exposed scandals, legal accusations, and industry blackouts that would have crushed any other artist. Whether she officially takes the crown or not, she has already changed the game. The vocal anomaly has become a reality, and the industry's attempts to hide her have only made her voice louder. As she steps onto the stage for her next performance, barefoot and defiant, the world won't just be listening for a high note, they'll be listening for a revolution. We will continue to follow this story as it develops, but for now, the verdict is clear. The voice is real, the threat to the status is imminent, and the legend of Jordan is only just beginning. Reporting for the Global Music Desk, I'm signing off, but the music continues. What do you think? Is she the one we've been waiting for?